We already saw this coming a long time ago, but now it's just even more solidified. James Bond is getting ultra woke washed. And for what? And for why? Let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. So, this comes to us from The Telegraph, and they said the next James Bond film will have bigger roles for women and a more sensitive 007, according to the producers who said Bond is evolving just as men are evolving. Okay, so we see here Zuby absolutely colossally ratioed them and said these entertainment media companies consistently and intentionally piss off their own audiences now, and it's an odd business strategy. Nobody wants this. Good luck to them. And he's exactly right with that. It's almost like they get a kick out of upsetting their existing fan base, or the fan base that existed before the new people started working on there. It makes them so happy to just take the joy away from fans and to change our favorite things, and they love it. And there's people who aren't even fans of these things, who don't even watch them, and they loved it. They just love to see other actual fans upset. They love to see it. I've seen this so many times with Tomb Raider, and I always shoehorn a Tomb Raider mention in every video, but I can't help it. It's just my favorite thing. So I've seen that with that. It's almost like Crystal Dynamics gets pleasure out of upsetting the fans, and the newbie fans, they care more about the old school fans being upset than they actually do about the property, which happens a lot. Of course, this isn't speaking for all of them, but let me go ahead and, bro, I can't even read this topic without I don't even think so. What kind of freaking head up your butt you gotta be to think that people have to pay to read your articles? No, thank you. I ain't gonna do that. Well, I was gonna read the article, but instead I'm just gonna be a bit more off the cuff with this. Now, we've already seen this coming a mile away, but like I said, this did solidify everything. And what this really makes me think of when this kind of stuff happens, let's look at James Bond as a whole. Now, I've never really been super that much into James Bond, and that's fine. I've never had to be. I've always just been perfectly content with other people liking James Bond. I don't have to be involved in absolutely every big thing that comes out. And what we're seeing with a lot of things that were made for the dudes, generally, I mean, because James Bond, dude, this is made for the guys. This is a male power fantasy type franchise. It's made for the guys. I'm a tomboy, and I do like a lot of things that, are made for the guys. But whenever I do insert myself into something that was targeted toward men, I go into it in a way of enjoying it for what it is and not hijacking it and expecting it all to cater to me. And now this is where the biggest problem lies. And this is why, taking a step back from gatekeeping has actually made things a lot worse, because it's like a Trojan horse. People will act like, I just want to include it in your hobby. I just want to be a part of it. And most people, are good-hearted and are like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and welcome them in. Let's let them enjoy this with us, because even though it's not made for them, why can't they like that? You see that with video games as well, as a male-dominated hobby. I know technically now they say it's more women, but that's including mobile games and things of that nature. But when it comes to actual AAA titles and such, especially back in the day, heavily male dominated. And so I grew up playing video games. I've always acknowledged video games as, hey, this is a more male centric hobby, but there's no reason why girls can't like it too. That's always been my thought. I've never had it in my mind. I've never felt entitled for them to change anything on my behalf, because quite frankly, the reason why I even like stuff like that, like gaming or football or anything like that, is I like it how it is. If I'm going to walk in there and enjoy something that wasn't technically made for me, if I enjoy it, I don't want it changed. And so people who are walking into these hobbies, and especially ones that are getting all this woke wash and all this, and expecting it to be hijacked and changed for them, that's entitlement, that's narcissism, that's just absolutely ridiculous. There's plenty of other things that are made that you can enjoy. You don't have to be going into other people's hobbies and seeing that they're having fun. Oh man, these guys are having fun with James Bond. How dare they? Let's walk in there and ruin their fun and hijack everything. It's just complete absurdity to me. And it's so, it's just comparable to, you know, when you're a kid or a teenager, for example, and you're hanging out with your friend and they make the little brother or little sister tag along. And they just kill the fun out of everything. Now, sometimes there's that really chill, cool little brother or little sister who can hang, but a lot of times what we'd experienced at that age was the little brother or the little sister being a killjoy. And that's exactly what is happening in this kind of situation. Let's look at what's going on with gaming in general right now. And I've talked about this, is you've seen people want gaming to be more inclusive. Let's welcome more women, for example. Let's make things more welcoming for women. And now look what's happened with gaming, or not even just women, the more casual audience too. Look what's happened. If you look at like the old school days, even up to like even PS3 era, up to a lot of PS3 era, but especially if you're looking at PS2 and earlier, then games were a lot more difficult. Games were focused on actual gameplay. Cutscenes were a reward. Now look where gaming is at now. AAA titles just bombard you with on-screen prompts telling you what to do. They bombard you with pretty fancy cutscenes that take precedent over gameplay. It's to the point to where some games feel like walking simulators, or the gameplay feels like filler content because the main purpose of the game was just to tell a story and to show you a bunch of pretty cutscenes. The entire industry has changed from, you know, used to when you were a gamer, a lot of what that meant was, hey, it was the challenge of it, is I'm going to overcome these obstacles that these games throw at me, and then I'm going to get rewarded with, if you're lucky, a pretty cutscene. But even then, not always. You were in it for the glory. And it's changed so much to where it's like, oh yeah, well, you know, we want everybody to be able to enjoy this, so we're gonna give you a pretty little story here and some pretty cutscenes, and the gameplay is gonna be really easy. And if you have a hard time, or if you have to think about a puzzle on what to do or something, we're gonna let the main character give you a hint, or there's gonna be some flashy glowing items or glowing ledges or something to tell you how to progress, you know, because God forbid a gamer actually thinks for themselves and has to figure something out, you know? So this is exactly what's happening. And not only that, but whenever you see things like race swaps going on in existing characters that were previously white, and then they race swap them, you know, and even if a character was previously another race and race swapped to white, we wouldn't like that either, but we get called racist for having a problem with race swaps. And what the biggest thing about this, though, is with that kind of topic, is people like to see a character be represented and look like they're supposed to look like. So technically, it's not even only about race. Because look at Jessica Alba in Fantastic Four. Almost nobody had an issue with that, which I think she is part white. She's like white Latina or something. But she's not like completely white like Sue Storm typically is. But was there a huge overwhelming backlash over it? No, because they made her look like Sue Storm. So it's kind of the same difference in this kind of situation when it comes to race swaps, as they want to call us racist, but really we just want to see a character look like they're supposed to look like. Most of us don't care what race they actually are. It's just a matter of what they look like. So, hey, if you have like a white character being portrayed by somebody who's not white, but they look like the character, and you know, maybe they have more features that actually look like the character, and you see them, and if you're looking at them and you're thinking, oh, that looks like this character, then yeah, that's fine. But also another problem with that, and another problem, which I've made videos about the race swap stuff before, so you can before I go too much on a tangent, but it also implies that you can't like this unless your race is represented, and that's always insulting to see that as well. And in this kind of situation, this is an attack on masculinity. Bond is evolving just as men are evolving. You mean the wussification of men that has been going on and that has plagued the America? Because an actual masculine man is not as easy to find as it used to be. And the same can be said about women as well. They're kind of masculinizing women. Women are allowed to have toxic masculinity, but men aren't allowed to be masculine. So that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with a man being sensitive. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But what this reads to me is it's just a fluffy, nice way of saying Bond is too masculine, and we want to deliver a wussified version. That's what that reads to me. So there you have it. I'm definitely tuned out now, but I think the moral of the story in this kind of situation is that we do have to be a lot more strict, a lot more open with gatekeeping stuff. We have to do it, because whenever a lot of people want to roll in, like I said, they want to hijack it. You have to gatekeep from the hijackers. If different people who aren't a target audience want to enjoy a hobby or a show or anything like that, then they should be able to enjoy it as is and not expect it to be changed for them. That, like I said, that's how I go into anything that's not meant for me. And anything that is meant for me, I would expect anybody else who is walking in to do the same and respect it the same and not try to hijack it. So I'm interested to see what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.